As artificial intelligence becomes an increasingly powerful force in shaping public opinion, the question isn't whether AI will influence elections, it's whether the guardrails we build today will be strong enough to contain it tomorrow. OpenAI, the company behind some of the most powerful AI systems in the world, has turned its attention squarely toward the 2026 election cycle, announcing a series of election-specific safeguards and information protocols designed to protect democratic processes from the risks that generative AI now poses. And the stakes couldn't be higher. Let's break down what's actually happening here. OpenAI is proactively establishing policies and technical measures aimed at preventing its tools, including ChatGPT and its underlying models, from being weaponized as instruments of electoral manipulation. This isn't a vague corporate promise. This is a structured response to what AI researchers, election officials, and democracy advocates have been warning about for years: that large language models are uniquely capable of producing persuasive, personalized, and potentially deceptive political content at a scale no human operation could match. What makes 2026 particularly significant is that it falls in a midterm election year in the United States, a period where congressional seats, governorships, and hundreds of state-level races will be decided. These are often lower visibility contests where disinformation can operate with far less scrutiny than a presidential race. OpenAI appears acutely aware that the battleground for AI-driven influence isn't just the big headlines, it's the quieter elections where voters receive less fact-checked information and where synthetic content can slip through with devastating effectiveness. The safeguards being discussed involve multiple layers. On the content side, OpenAI is tightening restrictions around generating political messaging, campaign materials, and content designed to impersonate real candidates or mislead voters about election procedures, things like incorrect polling dates, fabricated endorsements, or synthetic audio and text attributed to real political figures. These are precisely the categories of content that election security experts have flagged as the most dangerous vectors for AI-assisted interference. On the information side, OpenAI has indicated a commitment to directing users toward authoritative sources when election-related queries arise. Rather than having its models become a primary oracle for voting information, which carries obvious risks when models can hallucinate facts, the system is being designed to route users toward verified electoral authorities. This represents a meaningful philosophical shift, acknowledging that AI should sometimes deliberately step back rather than step in. But here's where the analysis gets complicated, and where the thoughtful observer has to pause. Safeguards announced by a private company are ultimately enforced by that same company. There is no independent regulatory body in the United States currently empowered to audit OpenAI's compliance with its own election policies. The accountability loop runs internally, and that should give us reason for careful scrutiny rather than simple reassurance. Furthermore, the adversarial landscape is evolving faster than any single company's policy team can respond. Bad actors don't need OpenAI's official products to cause harm. Open source models, fine-tuned versions, and offshore AI tools exist entirely outside OpenAI's guardrails. So while these protections are genuinely meaningful for the millions of people using ChatGPT legitimately, they represent one piece of a much larger and messier puzzle. There's also a deeper tension worth sitting with. OpenAI building election safeguards is an acknowledgement, implicit but undeniable, that its technology is powerful enough to threaten democratic integrity in the first place. That's an extraordinary admission embedded inside a press release. The 2026 elections will serve as a real-world stress test, not just of OpenAI's policies, but of the entire framework humanity is building or failing to build around AI and democracy. Whether these safeguards hold, bend, or break entirely may tell us more about the future of self-governance in the age of artificial intelligence than any single election result ever could.